Hello, Twintail. Back from the Chuuni Clan. How are you all doing? No, I know what it was like. I'm not yokai. We just decided that hey, it'd be best that I dress up as Akko today for today's Cardfight Vanguard Star Tournament because I am playing none other than the Darkest of Nations, the Dark States. So here I am, and Darkness and Megane will also be cosplaying as well. Darkness will be representing going full Color Sanctuary with the Toya and Bata cosplay, and Megane will be none other than his own image character, Rika Takahashi. So that's gonna be fun, and just gonna go ahead, get some final touches ready, and round one should be getting about like half an hour or something like that. So gonna go ahead and spend some time to take a few selfies and stuff while I'm getting all this makeup and stuff, and while I still have time to chillax. So I'll catch you all after round one, and then let's see how that goes. This is Twintail after round one. Unfortunately, I hacked the mirror, and an early damage check over trigger was not exactly the best thing I could hope for, especially when it was the final damage check of the turn. On top of that, while I was able to persona ride while my opponent couldn't, though it was delayed by a turn. My first round rush turn was pretty meh. I was unable to clutch it out. The guy had two Rikuso Hate Dragon PGs in hand, and I was just left with either an Interceptor and 3 15k guards. I was at 4 damage, but no matter what I did, it was a 21k column, a 18k could also go into a 28k before trigger, and I was just like, you know what? If this person gets a crit, I'm dead either way, so no guard to Vanguard gets a crit, GG, well played. So, hopefully I can try to catch up from here. So we'll see what happens, and I'll see you after round 2.
First round was actually a no-show, unfortunately, and it was actually, funnily enough, I got matched with one of my fellow local peeps named DS Red, who was also top 8 at the Asia Oceania region.
Yeah, congratulations.
And I was really looking forward to playing. His Baro, but unfortunately he wasn't able to join in. But he did say, "Wish me luck for over triggers." Yeah. So there was that.
Twintail is back after round 2 here, a little tangled, and I just played against Zorga, and I was in quite the losing situation early on because I checked my heals out pretty early, and Zorga just revive stuff, Alchemy Magic, and Resurrection Golbur, and it's definitely hard for me to keep up for the most part, but I was able to cinch it out at the very end. I had 3 cards left in deck. I don't play draw triggers, by the way, so there's that. I was one so short to be able to pull off a restand with a boost skill, but my opponent decided to chew the pass when I had 2 front triggers left in my deck. He asked for trigger count, 4 heals out, 1 front out, over trigger out. I was able to check that, but so my Vanguard's been hitting for extra crit every turn since like turn 3 or 4, I believe, and we're definitely going. He's just trying to figure out, what's the best way to go. So it's like, okay, you know what? 2 15s, so that'll be 43 to my 23 Bruce, and I checked my remaining 2 fronts and cinched the game from there. Was definitely not too happy about that, but that is kind of like how Vanguard works sometimes. So very unfortunate. So currently 1-1. Still in this. So just gotta make sure I do. Gotta be careful not to play too haphazardly. It's very easy to do that with this deck. So, I'll catch you all after round 3. Let's see what's up.
Second round was Dark States. It was the Baro Magnus. It did show that the late game aspect is really what hurts Magnolia because in this case it was close to about turn 5. So I Persona Rided, and what happened there is that I couldn't finish it off, go lethal, and at that point Bar Magnus was at 15, and we already know what happened to that.
Of course,
And
of course.
in that case, I did survive one turn, but I didn't get my Persona right afterwards. So unfortunately, I was unable to close it out in fully because I could only attack. I didn't even think I have 4 attacks. Even I had only 3 attacks because it really whittled down my rear guards because they're really targeting my rear guards in my deck.
So Twintail back again. We are now after round 3. I just play against a Stoicheia Magnolia deck. Pure Magnolia, none of this Zorga ride line up into Magnolia shenanigans. A little bit of a rough one, but some early heals helped. Guarding early in that matchup really helped. Special thanks to Megane for giving me some pointers in that matchup and for helping me playtest against it. He really loves the Magnolia deck. So very, very glad that I was able to play with someone who's very proficient at it, as well as someone who's very passionate about it prior to this event. So that's good. I was able to get a very clutch over trigger on turn 2. The guy guarded for 23 on my 10k Vanguard Richard and over trigger pass, over trigger, and things just kind of snowballed from there. We did have to skip turn 4, no Persona right on turn 4, but they eventually got the Persona right off before I could on my turn 6. But my Persona right turn is very much the ender, so already pushed the guy up to 4. Got us down to 4 cards and it became very difficult. So yeah, I was able to clinch it from there. So currently 2-1, we're doing pretty good so far. So hopefully things continue to look better from here, and I'll catch you all after round 4.
Next game, round 3, was probably the slowest matchup of all time for me. So I played against Brand Game. I played against Seraph Snow, or Seraph White, actually. Or actually, no, it's called Seraph Snow. My bad. So yeah, I play against Seraph Snow, and what started out to be a bit tricky for me actually played in my favor. So I was not really focusing on Magnolia, activate ability, attack through. I only did once. The rest of the turn, what I did was I decided to utilize it for getting back my specific cards. And that's kind of how you should play around against Prison. And what happened is that the game went super late, that my opponent, I guarded the last thing, and my opponent had to triple drive because he already had a lot in the Prison. And pretty much he was gonna deck out anyways. So
yes.
I survived. I completely survived that game, and I was really surprised because it also did show later on that I'm not a fan of slow games. I think comparing to my deck Magnolia to Orfist or Seraph, those 2 decks specifically are meant to play a bit more super late game, which my deck isn't. And what I did in the Oceania region too is that I had too many games in late game, which is kind of a problem thoroughly with Magnolia, because Magnolia you want to try to end it on lethal, especially on Persona Ride. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. Yeah.
Twintail back after round 4. We had another Magnolia matchup again. It was a pure Magnolia deck, none of this Zorga into Magnolia shenanigans. They really wanted me to play against all these Stoicheia decks today, apparently. So, I was able to get some pretty good early offensive pressure early on where, again, just do the whole strategy, try to guard against Magnolia early so that Persona Ride, Magnolia turns become easier to handle by the time that comes around. Double G, so that is very scary, but, they only do 1 damage, assuming no extra criticals. So, I was able to go ahead and take it. My opponent was whittled down to 5 cards in hand. I could have hacked the player a turn earlier, but damage check over trigger was very clutch for him. But yeah, we ended up taking that. So currently 3-1 with the round 1 loss. So my placing not looking too hot, but we'll just try to keep playing it out and see where we go. So I'll catch you all after round 5.
Round 4 is against Dragon Empire and Nirvana. Now this is a pretty close game thoroughly. I think what happened here is that I was expecting to So I decided to no guard at the last attack. And I only no guard because I could guard the other two rears. And instead, hits the crits, and you all know what happens. So I'd say that game, I think I could have honestly won that game. Even though if I guarded a lot, I only had like some 5Ks in hand. And it was still thoroughly tricky, though, to decide what do I want to guard with, etc. And especially also, I had one Ghost Chase, too, which I could have bounced the trigger. So unfortunately, that game didn't go in my favor, but I definitely thought I could have won that game, and I probably could have gotten to top 8.
Alright, hello everyone, Twintail back. Yeah, it was a bit of a quick one. My opponent went first, and they were playing Keter Sanctuary Bastion. And the first time you rolled Bastion gauge, their Twin Drive reveals nothing other than Overtrigger. So I deal with 2 more Twin Drives on top of that, and one of them revealing a grade 3, and just simply go to like 5 damage when I'm at grade 2 or something, and there was really no coming back from that for the most part. So yeah, I just ended up losing pretty hard. That is the game of the game. Overtrigger's OP. And yeah, it was just, I was staying determined. I do have 2 losses. Probably not making a top cut, but we'll just go ahead and play it out. See what happens. If I get another loss, maybe I'll drop. But yeah, let's see how the rest of us do. I believe everyone is between Darkness, Megane, and myself. We're only X2 at best after this round, so it's gonna be unfortunate. But we will go ahead, play it out, see where we go from here, and catch you folks after round 6.
And then we get to the trio of Dark States games. So the first one, round 5, Dark States Bruce. This game was pretty standard. I didn't really see any thorough issues. I think the Bruce player rushed me a bit quicker, which did allow me to thoroughly guard. And unfortunately, I get slogged out. But then the thing is that sometimes when Bruce is played, they like to do the Soul Charge 3 thing and not do a double soul restander, which is interesting that I don't see a lot. I think a lot of people are more worrying about card hand size, which is an interesting approach to Bruce.
It depends. Like the thing with Bruce is you're a deck that can also you're being a Bruce player myself. You're a deck that's capable of pushing, but you're also a deck that's capable of withstanding some aggression from your opponent. So you usually if you're doing things right, you could easily pull off 2 Bruces a game.
All right, yeah, but I was also noticing like they were running out of soul, and then after like that one restand turn, it was so easy to guard from there. Even in that case, I drew like my Overtrigger in this game, guarded with it, and then after that, it was like smooth sailing.
For sure.
Easily guard.
Alright, so after round 6, went up against Nirvana. Maybe I just don't know how to do this matchup correctly. Maybe I was attacking the rear guard, Varinas, Arcs, Valiente, etc. A little too often, to the point where I was basically near deck out. I pretty much had no other way to win. I was burned out of resources, so I'm not really sure, if anyone has any tips about how to deal with a Nirvana matchup, we'll gladly appreciate it. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong as a Bruce player. Maybe I should have just gone face all the time, but that also felt dangerous. I wasn't really sure, honestly. So now I guess I was probably going to drop after a 3rd loss, but seeing that I have a guy who's currently, my opponent from round 5 is currently still X and 1. I'll keep playing for that guy's sake. Hopefully he squeezes into the top 8. And we're going to get a spike here by dropping. So yeah, we'll keep playing, see what happens. So, I'll see you after round 7, see where things go from here.
Then we get to the 2 rounds I call hows, I guess. So the reason why these are 2 special games is because in round 6 and round 7, Barrow Magnus and Bruce respectively, both I went first. Of course, did my turn. I said no guard, and both of them, I'm not kidding here. I am not lying. You can ask my opponents too. They can verify, but both of my opponents checked over trigger on their first turn.
And
So we were at the point
the
where
dark stays over
Stays-
trigger is very, very
Yeah.
scary the earlier it's checked.
Mhm.
As a drive check.
What I think is in round 6 I was more scared because here's the problem with Borrow Magnus. Counterblock, I play Borrow Magnus too on casually in Cardfight area, but when you CB1 you will get an extra crit. And because of that, you also have already a utilization of power. And the problem is that in that game, I think I should have lost that game, honestly, because I had a 1 to pass. I guard almost my entire hand. However, I did bounce a Ghost Chase to get my PG from field. He whiffed completely on that drive check, and then I was able to withstand. The thing is, though, he was not at the soul necessary to do that. All goes to rear. So then I was able to close it out, which is interesting.
Alright, Twintail back after round 7. I just played against Barrel Magnes, Dark States. And, it's definitely quite a scary matchup, but, I was able to hold out. My opponent did end up making a bit of a miscalculation where he activated Crawl Your Insects, but forgetting that he needed Counter Blast for Barrel Magnes on a Persona Ride turn, so just decided to go 33 on the Vanguard. Big number, but base 1 I'm at 3 damage. Screw it, no guard. I go to 4 damage, and Final Rush, Persona Ride, that'll pretty much, it's still the deal from there. And we both had damage checked over triggers as well, so that was kind of funny. And currently 4-3. We might as well just go one more. See if we can get 5-3, or if we go break even at 4-4. So let's play one more round, and I'll catch you all at the end of this.
In the Bruce matchup, I think it was throw 30 stand. I think it was the exact same type I saw in round 5. Except the needed pressure did kind of bite me. I did have to take 1, and I believe I got hit with a crit on that, so I had to take 3, but then that was super early. After that, though, I pretty much was pretty calm. I didn't overthink the deck, and I was able to win it, especially with how important Magnolia's Persona Ride is, with having just amount of attack meters. And what I noticed also a play I was doing is that I gave a lot of the +5Ks from Adamantis to a trigger. And even then, I mostly am doing that because I already have the cushion with Ghost Chase. The reason why I did that is because give the power from Adamantis 5k there, and then you use Magnolia's skill. You use that, and it's a 15k attacker already. So that's really easy to poke and force out cards, because your goal in Mag is to either force out cards or give them damage. You kind of don't have to think about that early.
Right. Alright, Twintail back after round 8. I played against the Mirror again, so we ended where we began. And, the guy was very, very chill. It was very, very fun to play with that person. And while I did have fun, I was unable to clutch it out. My opponent was able to just get a bunch of damage in, could not see a single damage trigger to save my life. My hand was also kind of starved in terms of shield value at the time, so I couldn't really do much of anything for the most part. He just ended up capitalizing the momentum and paving forward from there and just taking the game as a result. But overall 4-4. Clearly there's still much I got to learn about or standard, perhaps. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong. Maybe I'm playing a wrong nation or what have you. These are just things that I got to figure out.
And then round 8, I actually played against Cardfighter 159, who is a fellow friend of mine. This person was also on the same team that I was on TOF, and in this case, he was just memeing around. He was playing a Eugene deck. He actually went 5-3 with Eugene, which is not a slouch at all. That's impressive.
No.
Yeah, but I'd say that the game was also thoroughly close, because I think the reason, even though the final damage count was 6-3, it was a heal fest. In our game specifically, he did damage deny me a lot, and that was at the point where I had to go hit face thoroughly. I didn't hit my over though, so that's why I kept swinging Van first.
Mhm.
But still, like of course there's that, and also to mention about the Dark States thing, I did win that game with a over trigger in lethal.
Ah,
I
yes,
gave
classic.
the OT power to Karis, and the good thing about that is that it's already 20Ks to front. It's theoretically a pseudo front trigger. I stopped running fronts in my deck. I was noticing that my deck was definitely whiffing hard within fronts, and I think that the extra draw power I've been really I really haven't given them enough respect, and it definitely helped me this game. I'd say that in round 7, I hit actually no in round 2 against the Brancade player, or round 3, sorry, round 3 against the Brancade player. What I did was I double draw trigged, and to be fair, if I didn't hit those 2 draw triggers, I think I would have lost the game. But and the last thing though, the lucky thing is that those 2 were triggers themselves. So I was like, okay, I have enough shield. And that's the thing. I've noticed that this format, you sometimes do want triggers, which is kind of strange. I've been used to saying, no, you don't really want triggers in your hands. But in this format, more shield the better.
Oh yeah,
Like,
especially early
V,
on,
it's
especially early on when the attacks are smaller.
Mhm. And then yeah, so that's been thoroughly my run. I went 6-2. You all can go check out my deck list at Chuuni Megane. I'm very impressed. I'm like very surprised that I went 6-2. This is my first BSF in the NA region, and I'm really looking forward to potentially playing other BSF. And if they do have come back with like BCS stuff like that, I'm definitely gonna try to qualify for Japan. That's a main goal that I have right now.
For sure. The event as a whole, like, because this is the first big sanctioned, officially sanctioned by Bushiroad event that we have for the standard format. And with myself being like a 9-year veteran versus Megane having just started Vanguard period within the last year, we're going to like approach this with like 2 very different perspectives here. So, Megane, you already played in the Asia. You already mentioned you were playing at the Asia Oceania event. About what was it? 14 hours prior to this one or something like that. Roughly speaking, 14, 15 hours prior. So, you already technically have like experience playing at that, as well as experience playing at your own local game store, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, overall, like, did you feel like both the combination of like playing at your own local store and playing at Asia Oceania kind of like helped like warm you up for North America?
I'd say definitely yes. I think that I was also really focusing on the Asia region because that region specifically, as a very good time zone, like from where we're recording right now, I'm gonna be playing a few more hours later. I'm gonna be playing V, so I really hope I actually with that. I'm gonna be memeing V, so we'll see in that. But I think in this aspect, I was expecting to do better in Asia than NA, only because of the time difference. Because I play better in the evening, I'd say. What I also did, what is also interesting is that Asia region is stacked with talent, like incredibly stacked with talent.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
definitely.
I'd say that could be a thorough.
Right.
I'd say that is a thoroughly tougher region.
And on top of that, because of like the time zone that Asia Oceania is in, it's like roughly 6 p.m. our local time here in the Pacific Coast, 9 p.m. over on the East Coast of the United States. Some people just kind of like, what? I feel, they could be like Megane. I feel more comfortable playing at like 6 to 9 p.m. my local time versus 9 a.m. to noon my local time, right?
Yeah.
Definitely love like the fact that like there were like the 3 regional choices. If you're more of an early bird like myself, you definitely prefer like playing in your own time zone. Whenever they start in the morning, that's when you start, kind of thing. Cool. Some people, maybe you're like more like Megane. You're more of a early evening person to the later evening. Okay, cool. That works for you. And if you are like, you're in North America and you're like, what? I am hashtag real gamer hours at like, midnight to 5 a.m. You could play in Europe.
Yeah, I know some people that tried to do all 3 formats, but they kind of passed up. I think it's only because Europe ended earlier compared to NA, but the problem was between Asia and Europe, those 2 kind of collided.
Oh yeah,
So
no.
unfortunately, there was a delay in tournament on that end because of new casters.
It was definitely like that for Cardfight Vanguard Premium the week before as well. I was playing in that. I did all right. It was like whatever.
I definitely say big shout outs to the casters I didn't get on stream. I don't think any of us.
Oh yeah,
got on stream,
what was the guy's name? Like Peter something and
yeah, Peter.
GG Mr. Rogers,
GG Mr. Rogers, he follows me on Twitter.
GG Mr. Rogers. Oh my goodness, because if I'm not mistaken, the guy's actually in Europe, and
yeah, from the Netherlands.
Right. So by the time he's doing this, it's already like because he was already streaming. I assume he was already on the cast for the Europe stream, so he has to go from there, into the evening hours in his time zone to continue streaming for Latin America stream. The guy's a trooper.
Big shoutouts also to Different Fight and WCC Kai.
Those
Those two
amazing.
are casters for Vanguard Zero Championships too, and I love their commentary too. Seeing some familiar faces because I started with Zero.
Mm-hmm.
I still play Zero. I still love Zero. I love the format right now.
Right.
I love Legion. I know a lot of people think Legion is controversial, but I love Legion personally.
All right.
But they're likely I really liked their commentary too, and also the memes that are out of it. There were so many memes. Everyone, I'd say this chat loves Eugene. And then we also got different fight speed. We're also playing Eugene, which is funny.
Different fight speed.
Yeah. But I did say, going back to like the tournament structure, I really love this. I think that also, so here's what happened. In one of my matches, I was talking with a veteran who'd been playing since the start of G.
Oh yeah.
And he said like, I love this format now. I'm so glad I came back. And like the only thing they did which is funny.
So the guy left for a while. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
He was a fellow Filipino too. I was surprised.
Right.
Sorry, yeah, you can go on.
I was gonna say because you mentioned like the guys from G. So probably when like V came around, it's just kind of like wow, nobody wants to play premium. No one wants to play pure G. I don't feel like I fit here, right?
Yeah. What's also interesting is. I lost my train of thought, but I'm trying to bounce it back. What's also interesting though is the amount of people coming back, and especially noticing that a lot of is very newcomer friendly, and that's what I really like because I'm noticing also with some of the Bushiroad Spring Fight Online posts is that a lot of them are saying this is their first tournament, and I'm like. Wow, you're doing a major immediately, which is pretty interesting.
The thing it's multiple things, but I really must be honest. So, one, it's a very low barrier of entry, start decks, MSRP, $3.99 American dollars, 333 Japanese yen. I don't know what it is in Europe. Is it Greek? Is it 399 euros? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, well, it could be close enough, I guess.
Somewhere around, basically, and on top of that, the start decks, with only a few modifications, they become they're really powerful out of the box for the most part. But you add some stuff in from D Booster Set 1, Genesis of the 5 Greats, you have yourself very powerful decks. Some of the best decks are based on trial deck bosses, right? Bastion.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. Like, I bought this day one. I did say at the beginning of day one, I said Magnolia was gonna be the deck for me, and I love it. I love playing Magnolia. It's like at this point where I just really love
Megane. If I'm not mistaken, when you say game one, you mean when they introduce just the taglines of each of the 5.
Yeah, when they introduced the taglines, the first multi-attack, and I easily fell in love.
Yeah, so the tagline was something like attack in a flurry of. Attack consecutively with your animal comrades or something like that.
Yeah, and the reason why is that because I tried to get into V earlier, but it just really wasn't my format. I mean, I
don't blame you. V has its own kind of worms, but we're past that. V is V. People still enjoy V. V premium is a thing, and best of luck to you in that event.
I'm probably still going to be more interested in V, but I started super late. That's the problem.
Right.
Starting from day one, I'd say this. I did say this about some other franchises. if I start from day one, I think I'm not gonna look back. You seen that with D4DJ. Well, I started with a lot of franchises a bit late, but Scythe All Stars, I'm still playing that. So many other franchises I started on day one, and they've always stuck around. And I'd say that this overdress is gonna stick around for a while because I'm soon also graduating from university.
That's gonna
But
be,
what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna still try to make plans to compete as much as possible. Of course, I'm still gonna prioritize IRL work, of course, first, but
IRL work, yes.
on the side, it will be streaming and then, of course, playing.
Yeah, the way where we kind of enter competition, another game was going to be, besides the low barrier of entry, was also, now you mention it, the fact that you could literally be right here on your own comfort at your, your bedroom desk or your home office, whatever you feel like, and play from there. We're using our webcam setups. I'm pointing at an invisible. I'll just go ahead and quickly show my setup here. It's literally a camera attached to a little stand, and
yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm gonna start my 20 here. This is my setup right here.
Right.
So what actually happened in the second round is that they told me that my deck. I was not allowed to have this play up, but I did have to show them that this was officially Bushiroad's license.
Right.
So they're like, okay, that's fine, carry on.
The easiest way, you just go back to the recent, we recently had episode 9 of Vanguard Overtrust the anime. You just go back there, go past the Zilla Proud opening, and it would be literally a D4 DJ Groovy Mix commercial.
Yeah, I didn't really get on stream, but again, I think even some people have commented on my mat. They said they loved it, and
sure.
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that more for another time, maybe like a month reflection.
Right.
Back on my one.
I'm just being a Kuso Gigi scum, just in banking cosplay with a logo Sunshine Mag, I'm scum.
I was gonna get a Niji mat. I was gonna get a Kanata, but that sold out.
Right. I think the problem is there's no good group.
I'm putting it this. Going back to that point about coming from your own home. So here's what's interesting. So in Asia region, I was in the first rounds. And then there was a big gap. So then I just took some time to eat. I just waited for my next round. And I say this. I say today went super quick, I'd say. Compared to Asia region, but I'm not knocking that Asia region. I really love the organization of Asia region.
We started at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and it's currently 3-ish p.m. We already have a bit of time to just relax. So after 8 rounds, it's still mid-afternoon for us. We have a lot of time to kill. Well, Megane not so much, but I got a lot of time to kill now by running to do whatever the heck I want. On top of that, Megane brings up a very good point about things that you can't really do the in-person event. While we really miss the in-person regions of being able to
I've never been to one.
Yeah, Megane's never been to one, but for me or Darkness, who's been to many years worth of the in-person events, we're just kind of sure we missed that, but at the same time. The fact that we could do things quickly use the restroom or grab a bite to eat literally steps away it is so nice
that and the community has been more things. So there's kind of the stigma, honestly. This is a bit going to the controversial. There's a stigma that Vanguard players are they're kind of as, but now we're noticing that it's much more friendlier in this case. I'd say that's more towards everyone being more open to the format, even though some stuff OTs are controversial.
Over trigger controversy aside, I definitely felt almost every opponent I had, no one really felt bad if they won or lost or something. Everyone's very, very.
Even we laughed it off. Even though we hit it over, we just
especially also that's the funny thing. In my opinion, what makes a game fun is ultimately, part of what helps to make a game fun for you is really your attitude to the game. If you're just gonna be there and keep going, over trigger, I keep dying over trigger, man. F this mechanic, Bushiroad should have never made in the first place. Then yeah, you're gonna have a bad time, right? Whenever over trigger pops up. Let's go. Okay, over trigger happens. Oh, okay, that happened. XD.
Yeah, and then I was talking in the Asia region. A lot of people are just casually talking and such, and it's like
Right,
that's cool.
right,
And then,
right.
like even then, like in the middle of one of the NA rounds, I said, "So who's best girl?" And then a lot of people responded. So well, to be fair, I don't
Fair
really have a
amount.
preference. I mean, both. I mean, to be fair, if I had to pick, it's obvious, but I prefer Masanori.
Megumi
But
is a
that's
good
another
girl.
discussion.
That's another discussion for
No,
another
I
time.
prefer Masanori, even though he doesn't play Magnolia, he plays Zorga. But
Masanori, as Kamari says, what was it? Uh, uh, angering
something
degenerate.
degenerate.
Oh no,
Yeah.
enraging degenerate monk, I believe was the correct.
Yeah.
Was the,
What I really like, as also a side note, going to that, talking about Zorga, I really do like the way Bushiroad is distributing this. First off, the cheap start decks. And second, I'm noticing, like, in my locals, they did do it at a cheaper price, which is very nice. And also, I really like the deals they did. SP per box? Like,
oh yeah,
that's
and on top of that,
insane.
the hollow, like the fact you could literally hollow out your entire deck if you really wanted to, is amazing.
Yeah.
Like foil
Yeah.
triggers, foil versions of your commons and rares on top of your double rares and your triple rares, or you go like SPs on that if you want to, or if you're lucky to have it, DSR, low key searching for that Dia Bolus Virus Boost DSR and the upcoming D Booster Set 2, a Brush with the Legends. Then speaking of while I'm on that, the fact that something that Megan, maybe you don't notice, maybe you don't really notice this about like older Vanguard, like pre-overdressed Vanguard, but like for the most part, whenever like your clan like it's like a new set, for the most part, it introduces a new boss or like new options for bosses, right? But
Yeah.
D Booster Set 2 is not doing any of that. Like there's like you look at it, there's like nothing that says this replaces Dragon Empire, nothing replaces Eugene, nothing replaces Nirvana.
Yeah, and that's true. It's a lot more thorough option,
It's
which is what I like for deck building.
it's more about expanding upon the originally established ideas of the two mainstay decks of each nation.
Yeah. What's also good about this is that a lot of people's deck building, they don't have to buy like I buy play sets too because I just want to be sure that if a card like I think one of the cards is like retire to get counter charge, or like Swell Assault, which is like you can retire that unit and counter charge.
Right,
Like those
right.
type of units, I usually get those play set, but sometimes I'm noticing that the market is not that picky. The only few cards that are picky is Bulba Mine, which we obviously know why, if you play Brandgate, and a few others thoroughly. But I'd say that it's also easy to build stuff from singles. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
even then, like even some of the triple R's are pretty cheap too, which is surprising to me.
Right, like this game is overall has become like very accessible. You don't need to like, and, on top of that, the tempo of the game is not determined by like, okay, who could just like ride Great Great over and over 5 ever like in V Premium, or like who could do their loop the loop or their OTK or their attack with like your 3 Vanguards like 50,000 times in Premium. But like like Overdress is basically, it's kind of like a combination of like what Vanguard was like meant to be. It's meant to be like a simple game where Shanks could tip the game over. Overtrigger is a very good example of this. But it's also a game where like proper player knowledge and skill and know-how definitely will also take you far. There's a reason why we see both newcomers like Megane and like other people doing well, along with big name staples that have been here for a while. Nut. We have Solemn Vanguard.
Xenofina, who I talked with, he almost made top 8.
Right.
Also DS Red, who is my friend from my local.
Right.
He was playing in the original, but then left around, I'd say, after Legion. I think I'll clarify with him with that.
I don't blame people for like leaving during like the fact is, prior to Overdress, we've had people like leave either temporarily or like completely for like one reason or another. People are like, Legion's here. This doesn't feel like limit breaks anymore. Or like some people just like went, some people before that, they're like, break ride, it's a little sloggy, or like limit break, bit of a slog fest sometimes. Legion or Reruska, like unironically compress our decks back with triggers that we discarded for shield on turns 2 to 3. And G, triple drive, generation break, and the fact that like we have decks that literally say you don't get to play the game because I'm never running a grade 3. And V was like, if you were like a G person, like, oh man, I really want to play V. V doesn't really sound fun.
Yeah, I think the Overdress still does this, to be fair, with their recent encounter cards, but the nostalgia pondering, I feel like it's kind of a time for a fresh change of pace.
Yeah,
which is nice,
like,
because like I'm very connected with already these characters immediately. I'm a huge fan of Masanori. I love Tomari. I love Megami. I love Donji. We all know Donji's our boy.
Donji is our boy. I mean, there's a reason why I choose to play Bruce.
Yeah, and I'd say like we already have this throw connection, and I like this. The only thing it just needs to fix up is the anime, but that's a separate topic, I guess. But I'd also say this: that I'm also more interested in the other formats too, because like a lot of people have been recommending me premium so much time, and I'm like, I don't know. But more I've been learning, it's the reason why they're recommending me is more casual based, not competitive based.
Right. Competitive premium and casual premium are like two different beasts.
Yeah, so I might play casual premium. Who knows?
You could argue V premium is also the same way. There's competitive V premium, which is like ultra. Which could be ultra degenerate depending on what you play against.
I'm bringing a meme deck. I'm playing Bang Dream. Like I don't think many people are bringing Bang Dream. So
I highly doubt it.
If none, so I'm gonna be memeing today. So
for sure,
there's that.
I just
but I do like this, and I also really hope from the producer's letter too. I really hope there are some collab.
Oh yeah, no, I'm very excited. Token Rumble Shaman King, please.
Yeah, please in English. We'll have to see though. We'll see how it works. Probably at least to. Yeah, probably at least for my final thoughts. Unless you want to ask me anything else, I'd say I'm really excited for the future of Vanguard. There are so many people that are also coming in from other games, which I didn't expect. Like we saw Jay Wong, which we didn't even know Jay Wong was given stuff with Bushiroad. We saw a lot of other people just joining in on this overdress craze, and I really like it. Everyone's talking about it.
I guess because it's a type of it's a new era of Vanguard that can appeal to the mainstream. It's easy to pick up. Again, $3.99 American dollar. $3.99 in American to pick up one deck that you could literally play right out of the box. You'll probably do fine.
Yeah, I played Brant. So I didn't have my playsets yet, but I played Brant because I've been playing Stoicheia, of course, in CFA, but I played some of the Brants on remote day one because I only had 2 starter decks at the time.
Right.
I played Brant and I really had fun with Brant.
For sure.
Like Brant, well, even though it's not gonna last long, it's still very fun to play, at least casually. And that's for the other deck too. I have I framed all 5, or not really framed, but I put them on my shelf that has like an open case. So I put all my 5-star decks there, and then I haven't opened any of them yet. I only opened them if it's like a special occasion. So that's what my plan is. But I'd say this: I really love this new era of Vanguard, and especially for like other products as well. I'm really looking forward to. Like I heard so much hype on Round Revival Selection, except for that one clan that shall not be named, to get an incredible amount of support. But I'm really excited for the future of Vanguard, and especially for new people joining in like myself. I joined in a interesting way, to say the least.
Right, I'll definitely say
I'm really excited to see this in the future. I'm especially excited for the future meta. Lyrical Monasterio is also coming, and also, like I said before, champs is my goal. I think that if I can get 6-2 in here, I believe I can potentially qualify at least the top 8, if not direct, because I honestly believe in myself more out of this game. I think this is the main format that I believe in myself that I can exceed expectations. So
definitely,
I'm really glad, and I appreciate. Shout out to Bushiroad, of course.
Every shout out to Bushiroad. No, I'm very glad that Bushiroad has chosen to be able to trust us with doing ever since they established remote fight as a game early last year, and culminating down to this official sanctioned online event where they're going to give out champion promos with very, very fancy heart stamps for Vanguard and actual sealed products for White Swords. It's just amazing. And Buddy Fight gets the exalted fights, they're these gold I don't know if they're gold plate, but they have like a gold text effect on them. But yeah, like Bushiroad's like going pretty out because but I will say this. I do wish that Bushiroad would like take a little, but while I'm glad with like some of the third party stuff, like I believe Europe is handled by ENTCG. ENTCG is like a very power, very great European community member. Definitely go check that guy out. I don't know who runs Asia Oceania. Do you know? Is it
For the tournament?
Yeah. Who was the actual host?
I'm not sure, but I do know. I think it's called Shushu. I believe that's the name. I can recheck it right now.
Okay, sure.
But this person was very good with running the AO region. That's what really. Yeah, it's called Chusan.
Oh, Chusan.
So
okay.
Chusan was the main person running it, and there was also a good amount. And also the judges were really nice to me too. I told them like, so we run a different system. Asia region, they say you go when the judge asks you to, and then I said, "Hi, judge." They said, "Can we start?" I said, "Yeah, you can start." And I really like that too.
We're
like
North America.
That.
We're saying North
this
America.
This one's a bit different, but I like this. I like this organization too.
Right,
the reason why I like this organization is because it's via timer, and it's like you go at your pace.
Right.
Like sure you like waiting through, but you're like I want to play immediately. Like that's me. I want to go ride my Vanguard like so quickly.
Right, North America is run by Pro Play Games. You guys might know them for running Yu-Gi-Oh events, Dragon Ball Super events. In particular,
a lot of Digimon recently.
Oh yeah, Digimon card game events, and they do some Vanguard, obviously, or else they wouldn't be doing this. And while they were a little iffy on week 1, they definitely improved by week 2.
That's and their track record with Vanguard 0 as well.
But despite all that, Megane, I'm pretty sure you know it. Darkness notices. You can kind of like ask me like privately. What's all these like just like popping into our rooms like every now and then. And we're just doing actually make sure like no one's doing like anything illegal or anything like that.
Yeah, I actually asked. Funny fact, I actually messaged a judge in the middle of my 4th round, asking if one specific card I needed to do an ability, and they were very nice to explain it too. So.
Right. Good.
I don't know if you want to know. I don't know if you want to know the ability. I can just kind of spoil it now. It's Ghost Chase, and I had like no rear. I had no rear guards, and I was like, so do I need to run? And it said it's okay. It's only It's only an extra thing. It was like, hey, guard with.
Right. So Megane for my future reference. On any Vanguard card, and this goes like any Bushiroad game too, by the way, perform as much of an ability as possible if you were able to pay a cost to begin with.
Yeah, because I was at that situation too. Also, another thing, going back to like my main thing, I was noticing that some of the strategies I originally had went out the window, and I think adaptation to the game plan at hand has been so good for me as a player.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I definitely say that I've really improved of reading the board because what I also was kind of scared about is that it's a multi-attack deck, but when can you use a certain ability? That's why I was kind of like, when I get Karis back, I was like, okay, should I use Karis as an attacker? Or this is also noticed in the last game against Cardfight 159, is that I was like, okay, Hendrina can attack her rear guard, but Karis there. But instead I was like, you know what? I think it's okay letting them have this. Take this, and they took damage. So I was like, okay, so that was kind of worth compared to just attacking with Karis, and then guards, and then an easier guard. So that's what I also like within my deck. But I think the organization went pretty well, and especially just big shouts to everybody involved. I've like really thanked everybody for both servers, and I'm really excited to play V Premium there.
For sure.
Even though I'm going casual in V Premium, or I'm just playing a rogue deck, as they call it. I'm really excited to see the future, and I can't wait to see how it happens.
Vanguard, you have a lot to show us, with veterans who are, veterans like myself, mainstay veterans as well as newcomers like Megane. Vanguard's definitely looking to be like looking to have quite a bright future where like we can learn from one another, right? You can learn from like me, the veteran. I can learn from you, the newcomer, about like what I might be doing wrong, like a new format that you're more used to. So
and also the experience too. I've done my experience too is I never went to a card shop, and that you used to go to.
I used to go to like tons of card shops.
Yeah, you do that. I think you do it for Weiss as well. Like
Weiss.
I've never had that experience. I've never had that experience myself.
Right.
And then now I have this, and the community. I remember that we were talking about this. The card shop was packed on the so the first time I went, it was just for a VP tournament. There was not that many people.
Right.
This time
right.
around, so many people are packing the card shop. It's insane.
I could
So I'm like,
imagine.
the hype is so real.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that-
and I'm excited for future events too.
For sure. For sure. Right. So I think that's gonna do it. Is that gonna do it for us? Anything else you want to bring up really quick, or we're good?
Yeah, thank you all for cheering us on,
For sure.
especially.
Yep,
I
thank
especially
you.
loved all the support. I especially love the support around the community too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Going from someone that didn't know how I was gonna adapt to the regular TCG and seeing how I did well. I mean, let me take a look really quickly at where my standings are.
I'm pretty sure my records are pretty bleh. I hashtag 44.
I got 20. I got 28.
Broke
I got
even.
28th place. I'd say top. I say 28th place. Oh wait, no, it's updated. Yeah, it's still 28th place. But 28th place
Yeah,
and going
confirm it
6-2.
here.
That's not a bad slouch. I just barely missed out. So, and
Right,
even
for
then, if
sure,
I
for
won
sure.
that game against Dragon Empire, I
Oh
think I
no
could have
no!
made top cut.
I am too above the funny number 69.
Oof. But yeah, I'd say this 28. I mean, 28th for somebody that just mostly was a zero player.
Right, and that's
It's very impressive.
20 out of like 220 something people. That's like almost in the upper 10%.
Yeah,
That's like upper 15%.
so yeah, thank you all for
That's pretty good.
supporting me.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Like, and that's why I also love streaming it too. Like, you all should go definitely check out my streams.
definitely.
I'm gonna do a lot
below.
more. I feel like with this, it's like so exciting. This summer is just so packed because of the D4DG Groovy Mix release in English, and then a lot more overdress too. And I'm so excited for this summer. This is a great way to start summer, I'd say.
For
I know it's
sure,
called
for
Spring
sure.
Fest, but it's already technically summer. So
About two and ish weeks from now.
yeah, but other than that, though, I'm excited. I hope I can also qualify for Vanguard Zero's champs. But other than that, though, I still
Sure.
say this: even if I can't, I still love the future overdress, and I'm excited to see what you think. I hope I can also get more commentary gigs too as well.
Definitely. Let's look forward to that. Right. So thank you, Megane, for joining me for this. Right. Yeah, we'll definitely catch you out. Yeah. Overall, it's a pretty fun time. Definitely fun to have been able to get some kind of like repeating the tradition of cosplaying to a big Bushiroad event. With Megane, with Darkness, we all did what we could. We were unable to, unfortunately, cinch it out. None of us are going to be really representing at the top 8 for North America, Latin America. But that is fine. Hopefully we all have fun overall. I definitely did. Hopefully, I know Megane definitely felt like he had fun overall. Darkness, hopefully him as well. I haven't been able to reach him too much. He had to go and hashtag lunch before Vanguard with the family. So there's that. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of like end things off here. Bruce is a fun deck. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong with it at the moment. Maybe I just need talk with some folks, play just a little more. I gotta figure something out if I want to be more serious about it. But yeah, hopefully, next time, by the time we do this again, it'll be in person. I'll kind of be either holding this up or putting it down on the table and doing this for y'all. But with that, I'm be sure to continue to embrace that darkness and bye bye.
Bye bye.